Okay, so I'm back in SmartCAD. I assume that you've tried to complete this task, but I'm going to go over it to make sure that everything is clear here. And then you can download your translated document and submit it. Uh, so this is all in order to practice using this tool. So previously, in the previous video, I started translating this sample text. I made one small mistake because the instruction here was to press Ctrl Enter, and I just pressed Enter. So of course the translation wasn't confirmed, right? And of course you might want to do that if you're going to go back, right? If you're just typing a draft. But once you decide that you want to confirm the translation of a given sentence, of a given segment, you press Ctrl Enter, and you can see that this is confirmed here, right? It says done. You've got the green tick, right? So let me make this a little bigger in case you're working on a smaller screen. So that's how you confirm it, right? You've got this done word here plus the green tick. Okay, so I'm going to continue. So w tym zdaniu I'm not sure if we need a comma in Polish. Probably not. Of course, not wybierz, right? Because we're talking about selecting text, right? So zaznacz swoje tłumaczenie słowa dobra. I guess the Polish spelling is the same with a C. I naciśnij. So actually I think this is a mistake. Click Alt-1. You don't click Alt-1 because they are keyboard keys. So you press them, right? So sometimes that's always a question for a translator. If you see an error in the original text, should you translate the error or should you just correct it? So probably it depends on the context. In this case, we just want to convey the meaning, and the intended meaning is, of course, to press a key, right? So in most cases, we will just want to correct any errors, unless the errors are part of the they are somehow important for the original text. You want to convey the errors, like translating perhaps let's say maybe sometimes a politician's speech or maybe a comedy sketch, right? Especially if the errors are intentional or they show something about the speaker. So then you would translate the errors. But if for example it's an instruction manual, then of course you just want to convey the meaning, and you don't want to copy the errors from the original. But I'm digressing. Naciśnij Alt on. In Polish, I would actually start a new sentence, but let's stick to the original punctuation where possible, because of course sometimes you just have to use Polish punctuation, especially when we talk about commas. Like here, right? We don't use a comma after teraz. Będzie miało takie samo formatowanie w przetłumaczonym dokumencie. And I would just say jak w oryginale. Again, this original styling, or the style of this sentence and the grammar used here, isn't entirely fortunate. It will have the same formatting in the translated document just as it is, right? This is grammatically slightly awkward. It's strange. If you use the same, if it's the same as, right? The same formatting as in the original, or as it is in the original. I don't see the point of using this just here and even this comma, but well, there you are. So again, I'm trying to make this clear in Polish. I want to convey the meaning, basically. I don't want to copy the strange style of the original. Okay, so yeah, so I can press Control Enter, or if you prefer, you can just click this. You can click this tick, but of course you get a warning because tag 1 is missing in target critical. So yes, so if you have these tags, so the purpose of these tags is that you mark certain words in the original, or certain words are marked in the original already, and you mark the corresponding words, so the translations of these words in the target language. And the reason is that you want to indicate that this is the same word, right? Because as I said before, translation memories use whole sentences, so they don't necessarily know which word corresponds to each word. So they are not glossaries, right? They translate, they just keep the translation of the whole sentence. So they can't know, in most cases, which word exactly, for example, which word this word is translated as, which is the Polish word here, right? Because it's not a word for word translation, right? The word order is different, the grammar is different, so that's why we sometimes need to mark certain words. And in this case, we are marking this word because we want to keep the formatting of the original. The original has some bold text here, and so we want to indicate that this is the same word, right? Keep the formatting. And it can be used for other purposes. So Alt 1, right? So I indicate this here, right? Alt 1, and at the end, right? So we have this indicated. You can see 1. Of course, if we have another one, it will be numbered. It will be labeled as the second one, and so on. So let's see if we are accepted now. We are. There is another warning about the word abracadabra, which says that that this is a misspelled word because it doesn't have it in the dictionary, probably. But I'm pretty much sure that this is the correct spelling in Polish. I don't think we spell it with a K, but maybe I'm wrong. So anyway, to continue, some segments have an arrow on the left side. It means that they are exact repetitions, right? And you can see this arrow right here, right? So these words have arrows, I'm sorry, these segments have arrows, which means that they are exact repetitions, right? So basically they repeat the same, they are the same sentence, right? Okay, so let's first translate this. Mają strzałkę z lewej strony. And actually, grammatically speaking, this is a comma splice. But I'll keep from criticizing the grammar. So I'll just translate it as it is. Niektóre segmenty mają strzałkę z lewej strony. To oznacza, and we need a comma in Polish, że są to dokładne powtórzenia. I'm not sure about this translation, whether it's entirely or stylistically correct, but I'm not going to focus on correctness so much here, because I want to just demonstrate how this works. Powtórzenia, wierne powtórzenia, maybe. Anyway, doesn't matter at this point. And I'm not even convinced about this dash here, but I'm not gonna experiment with this. So przetłumacz następny segment i zobacz, co się stanie. Probably we should have a comma here in Polish. Okay, so I'm confirming this. Again, it sees some extra spaces. I don't exactly know why. Maybe because in reality this is a hyphen, and here we have a dash, but we won't worry about this. So żwawy lis, because I think it sounds better than szybki lis. Żwawy brązowy lis skacze, przeskakuje nad leniwym psem. Okay, so right, so you see what's happened now, right? Done, and the sentence is automatically inserted because the translation memory has started working. So this sentence was so all the sentences are you translate are copied into the translation memory for future reference, for future use, right? So now it has recognized that this is the same sentence, and so the translation has been inserted automatically. So that's what happened, right? SmartCut remembered your first translation and automatically inserted it the second time. So SmartCut zapamiętał twoje pierwsze tłumaczenie i automatycznie wstawił je za drugim razem. I think you might be hearing my keyboard quite a lot because it's quite close to the microphone. Okay, so Yes, I'm confirming this here. Again, probably something about spelling. W następnym segmencie spójrz na, look at the cat pane in the top right corner. So this is the pane, right? So a pane is like an area, like a panel, and I think I will translate it as panel in Polish because I can't think of any other word at this point. But I think this is appropriate for this kind of area. Spójrz na panel cat in the top right corner. W prawym górnym rogu. So in Polish, of course, we start with prawy and then we talk about, so first we move horizontally and then vertically. In English, it's the other way around. So it's top right corner. Okay, so again, I'm confirming this, and we're supposed to look here. So we're looking here, and you can see that we have this previous translation, right? Because this new sentence here says, the quick red fox jumps over the lazy dog. So it's slightly different from the previous sentence because instead of a brown fox here, we have a red fox here. But it seems that the application recognizes this fact. So it recognizes that the sentence is almost the same. It only differs in this one word, right? So so it's quite smart in that sense. And it tells us that 91% is the same and the rest is different, right? So it recognizes that, and even if you look here, you can see what is different. So it shows the difference. Brown is replaced with red, right? But it doesn't insert the translation automatically because it's not exact, right? But we can do it. We don't have to type the whole sentence, because if you hover here, you can see Control 1, right? So this is the shortcut, Control 1, and this is inserted, and it shows here as well that we've got 91%, and this is TM being used, translation memory. So all we have to do is to just change this word here, and of course we will translate red as a rudy, I suppose, because czerwony would sound really strange when talking about a fox, unless it's actually red, like painted by someone. Okay, so let's continue. So we have this explanation here. Something different happened. The translation is shown in the cat pane in the upper right corner, but not inserted. So that's exactly what happened. Wydarzyło się coś innego. Tłumaczenie pokazało się. Usually we prefer, in Polish we often prefer to use impersonal forms instead of passive voice. So passive voice in Polish is not as common as in English, definitely. Tłumaczenie pokazało, what am I talking about? Tłumaczenie pokazało się w panelu cat w prawym górnym rogu, ale nie zostało wstawione. Right? Okay, and to dlatego, że nasz lis jest teraz rudy, a nie brązowy. Okay. If you go back to that segment, you can see this change highlighted in the cat info pane, right? So we will no longer see it. We will no longer see it because I've already corrected it. But you saw it right before. You saw that the difference highlighted here. Now you can see no difference is found because I've corrected this translation. Okay, so if you go back to that segment, you can see this change highlighted. So let's just quickly translate this. Jeśli wrócisz do tamtego segmentu, I don't think we need a comma in Polish. Zobaczysz że zmiana, I think that sounds more Polish, że zmiana została wyróżniona w panelu Cat Info. Oh, I've got to include bottom right w prawym dolnym rogu. Translate this last segment and download the file by clicking the button in the upper right corner. So I'm not going to translate this because that's the end of the tutorial. So you can just complete it. You can download it, and of course you can download here. So it says in the upper right corner, right? So it's over here, and we've got three options: original, bilingual docx, and translation, right? So the original, that's the original file in English, and we can download a bilingual docx, so a docx document where we have both the original and the translation, or just the translation, right? And you will see that there is a slight difference. So now if I click, I can click download here. So this is downloaded. And if I open this, you can see that you've got the source and the target language, right? And each segment, each sentence basically, is put into this table here, right? Next to each other, right? Of course, the last one hasn't been translated, so it's not there. For some reason, you've got this Russian, Ukrainian, I don't know, here, and I have no idea why that is. I'll have to look into the settings, but that's just puzzling. Okay, so if you download the translation, just the translation, you will see you have no table, just the text. Of course, this is all divided into sentences, so each sentence is a separate paragraph basically, but I think that's because the original was constructed like this, just for demonstration purposes. So if you upload a document that has proper paragraphs in it, they should be preserved, but we'll see when we actually upload our own documents.